we're looking for one of the ocean's largest predators. And I'm going to jump in the water and have a swim with it. Maybe something this size. Could you imagine that? There's a healthy population of Australian sea lions and New Zealand fur seals right there on the island, and that's what brings the sharks here.
Great whites move around, never staying in the one spot too long. But the Neptune Islands offer such an abundance of food that one has been recorded hanging around for 92 days.
We're here in early December, right in the middle of the seals' breeding season. There's about 4,000 pups born here every year.
We're not banking on the seals putting their lives on the line for us, so the crew's chucking burley overboard to attract the sharks.
Great whites have an amazing sense of smell. They can detect just a few drops of blood in the water up to 5 kilometres away.
There's no chance this one was that far though. We've made contact within a few minutes.
We've just seen our first shark, and I knew something was going on because all of the seagulls here lifted and they just moved over there. And then out of the deep comes a big grey mass, our first shark. This place is alive. There's seals and their pups on the shore and in the water. There's birds everywhere. Tuna at the back of the boat, just chopping up the burley. It's easy to understand why the sharks are here. It's time for me to get suited up and in the water.
There's still no concrete data on how many great whites are left out in the oceans. So it's fair to say that whatever I see today, I should be grateful for.
It's my turn. Into the deep blue, the great unknown. Good luck.
This is just incredible. No sooner have I gone under and the sharks are here. Just look at them. No wonder they're the most feared animals in the ocean. The odds on being attacked by one of these terrifying fish are astronomically high. But can you imagine it? This is one of the scariest experiences out there. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking the behaviours I've just shown you are exactly how great whites are in the water, all snarling teeth and thrashing tails. Well, that's how they're usually depicted in the media, but let me show you how they can be. On the whole, these monsters of the deep just go about their business. Cruising around, they largely keep to themselves. Their main diet is fish, but look at these schools. They hardly seem bothered by the presence of their biggest predator. Now, that doesn't mean to say I'm going to jump in and have a swim with them. But don't be fooled by the continual feed of stories suggesting the oceans are filled with great whites, ready to devour anyone who pops a toe in the water.
That was truly amazing. They come out of nowhere and they're so big, but at the same time, graceful and majestic. But that Southern Ocean's cold. I need to get out of this wetsuit.
I can safely say that the experience will live with me for a lifetime, but it wasn't at all what I was expecting.
So, at some points there, I was sort of hoping, not expecting, but hoping that a shark was going to, butt into the cage and ram his head in and try and eat me. But they were in fact gentle and majestic and graceful, and you know, that I guess is a very different perspective, because most people would think they're going to try and eat them through the cage, but they don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a whole raft of guidelines that, you know, that we've obviously got to abide by in doing the tours that we do, and minimising and certainly avoiding contact with the cage, between the cage and the animal, is right up high on that list sort of thing. So I mean, our guys work very hard to ensure that doesn't happen.
Working with animals day in, day out, I get to witness individual characters. It's no different for Andrew and the sharks.
Who's the one there with half a fin?
Yeah, that's our old favourite. His name's Chopper. So, it looks like he's had his dorsal fin, got the top of it chopped off, whether it's from another shark or tangled up in something and it's sort of chafed through. But no, he's fairly regular, that guy. He's up sort of 4.5 metres now, so he puts on a good show.
How many of them can you tell individually, and do you get the same sharks turn up?
Look, we get a lot of the same sharks. I mean, when they come to Neptune's, they turn up here for a period of time, become temporary resident because of the seal colony. Some will only stick around for a couple of days, some will stick around for up to a couple of months, actually. And like Chopper, for instance, I mean, he turned up again about 10 days, 2 weeks ago sort of thing, so hopefully he's here for a while longer.
And so that raises the importance of the other side of the work that you do. So you bring people out to have an experience with sharks, but you do a lot of research at the same time. What's involved in that?
I mean, a lot of the research is passive observation sort of thing that we make and record. I mean, we've got to log down all sorts of environmental factors to see if that plays a part. You know, weather conditions, wind, tide, all of that sort of stuff.
I see a behavioural change in them here now. When they go in, they're just cruising along so gently, and then they want a bit of food and the speed picks up. Do you get to know individual characters and how do behaviours change?
Look, they're all their own shark sort of thing. Like there's no one general characteristic sort of thing. And yes, it does change day by day. But you know, your sharks that are slow and almost lazy, I mean, they seem to always be like that. And then you've got the little guys that are just full of energy, like a 5-year-old kid that
like
are just
me.
Oh mate, they're just running around like madmen sort of thing.
5 sharks there at once a minute ago.
Yes.
Is that about as many as you'd expect on a day?
Oh, look, we're having a good day. I mean, today's certainly been above average, shark-wise. I mean, we were quite lucky that, first shark turned up while we're doing the safety briefing. I mean, no one listens to safety briefing, but geez, first world problems, So, but yeah, I think we're up to about 6 or 7 different sharks today, and as you said, 5 at once. I mean, to have 5 apex predators within your sight, at one time is fantastic.
That's fantastic, and an experience I'll never forget.
They might be one of the most feared creatures on Earth. And let me tell you, when I was down there, my heart was racing, cage or no cage. But just being in their presence and experiencing their gentle nature, well, for me at least, that's turned my fear to respect. There's an aquatic mammal out there that was only recognised as a species in its own right 10 years ago. New mammal discoveries are extremely rare, so it got the zoological world very excited.
Which is why in the past decade, research into this new marine animal has gone through the roof. To see the work being done, I've been invited along on one of the latest expeditions.
WWF actually thought, well, we need to know more about this species because basically nothing's known about it.
Yeah, sure.
Alexander is from the World Wildlife Fund. They're collaborating with other organisations and leading research into the Roebuck Bay population of snub-fin dolphins, or snubbies as they're commonly known.
We came out here, we started helping researchers from the ANU and then Murdoch University, and now with Yaru. I've gone and actually looked at all the different types of dolphins in the bay, the individuals, and through taking photos of the particular fins, we can identify individuals, and then after that we've determined there's about 130, 140 in the bay, which is great.
And what makes Roebuck Bay so attractive to the snubbies?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Roebuck Bay is an incredible place. It's got 300,000 shorebirds come and actually visit the place because of all the food and the mud. And so we believe that the reason why there's such a large population of snubbies here is because it's really productive. There's lots of food, not only for birds, but also for dolphins. And so this population occurs pretty much in this bay, probably filters further south into 80 Mile Beach. And yeah, this is their home.
Now that I know a little more about their situation in the bay, I can't wait to spot one. As Alexander says, there's around 140 snubbies out there, but it's a big old place, so I reckon we've got our work cut out to grab a sighting.
Same one.
But the boys tell me conditions are perfect for the dolphins, so fingers crossed.
Hey. I'm here until March and then the first of there's at least two out there. Is there? There's a couple over here. There we go. They're just loafing out here.
There's some out there?
Yeah, there's two out here.
Our first sighting. Wow! Snubbies are scattered along Australia's northern shores, often playing in small groups, just like this lot. Even though they were only discovered a decade ago, it's not like they've just moved in. Up until then, sightings were thought to be of the Irrawaddy dolphin that's common in Southeast Asia.
Some scientists in Queensland went out there and realised actually they have different colours. They've got 3 shades of grey on them effectively, and they went and took some genetic tests, and sure enough, they're an endemic Australian dolphin.
Even from here, you can see how they differ from other dolphins. Their dorsal fin, which is much smaller, is where they get their name from, and it sits further along the back than other dolphins. It also doesn't have much of a snout compared to the common bottlenose.
The snubbies we're seeing are just loafing on top of the water, and the boys say they've been out feeding, and when they come in now, they loaf around. We don't go too close with the boat, but as soon as they see us, they tend to head off slowly or dive.
Jahani is one of the Yaru Rangers who are committed to the protection of snubbies in the bay.
What are the biggest threats to them in here?
In here, well, you got the other things like sharks and stuff like that, but you got the dinghies and that with their props.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't careful and they don't realise what's in front of them and they end up hitting them, you know. But
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean, we don't get many reports, but I guess no one's really going to report it. And
They might even know.
Yeah, and they don't even know that they've done it, you know.
So they can deal with sharks and crocodiles, but a boat propeller?
But a boat propeller is a bit different, so it's just a matter of people being careful, you know.
And to you, why is it important to protect the bay or protect snubfin?
I guess because they're quite rare. The snubfin dolphins are quite rare, so we got a passion for looking after everything anyways, you know. That's just who we are. But yeah, I guess because they're rare, we want to make sure that they're looked after. Yeah.
And you can understand them more and learn about them.
Yes, it's nice out here. We just want to keep it that way.
When the snubbies are feeding and playing, they're oblivious to the dangers around them, which is why, as the bay becomes more and more popular with leisure boats, strikes are on the increase. Injuries from these encounters are evident on some of the dolphins around us today. There's a greater threat to the snubbies out there, more so than sharks or even someone's propeller.
Probably the biggest threat to coastal dolphins is commercial fishing, gill net fishing. One of the great things that's happened in this bay was last year they actually banned commercial fishing, and so that should effectively protect this dolphin.
There are plans to make the bay a marine park. Still some time off, mind you, but once that happens, the whole ecosystem will benefit. This place is on the National Heritage Register and was even recognised back in 1971 as an internationally important wetland. In my opinion, it's imperative the marine park status is approved as soon as possible, not just for the dolphins, but all the animals that call the bay home.
So it seems like there's a lot of good science happening here, and a lot of good management from locals.
Yeah.
And that means the dolphins will be around for a long time to come.
Absolutely. And so the great thing is that the Yaru country managers are actually out here every month doing their surveys, and so they're having a good look at where these dolphins are, how their population is going. And one of the interesting things about this dolphin is it's in such relatively small numbers, 140 animals. We'll actually start seeing them decline if they do, and that'll give us an indication that something's going wrong in the bay.
The signs are looking good for one of the world's most recent discoveries. It's encouraging that there are so many dedicated people looking after this unique mammal. This is Tasman Island. It lies just off the southeastern tip of Tasmania, and it's a haven for wildlife. South of here is the Southern Ocean, a wild place where only the hardiest of animals and craziest of sailors venture. I'm heading out with Rob Pennicott, who runs wilderness cruises along the coast. Rob knows the waters around here better than most. He used to be a fisherman, but today he shows tourists the marvels of this spectacular coastline. This cave was formed over millions of years of wind and wave action, eating away at a weak point in the rock.
That's scary. We're right in the cave. A big surge comes through like that. Unbelievable. The cave's just massive.
This is exhilarating stuff. Being able to get so close to the action like this is pretty special. Over there is the majestic Tasman Island. But there's one thing Rob wants to show me before we head out. The cliffs down here are staggering.
At just over 300 metres, this is the highest sea cliff in the whole southern hemisphere.
Their shape and structure is just amazing. The rock itself is Jurassic dolerite, formed 165 million years ago when dinosaurs roamed the Earth.
Behind me is an Australian fur seal colony. Now, they're one of the largest species of seals in the world. Now, there's a few young pups there, not too young, and mainly females. The big males that can get up to 360 kilos, they're off in the ocean somewhere.
To get to that size takes a lot of eating. And when it comes to hunting, seals are the masters.
And when a surge of water comes up, the seals will use that and jump into the water. And when they go under, they can hold their breath for 5 minutes. Now, underwater, they are supreme hunters. Their whiskers are so sensitive. They pick up little electronic pulses left by fish as they swim through the water.
They can go down 200 metres to catch their prey, which apart from fish, includes octopus and squid. But if you think it looks cold up here, it's nothing to the temperatures 200 metres down. But their bodies are well equipped.
The Australian fur seal has 2 layers of fur, and that's simply to help them stay insulated, to stay warm.
Now, it's time to head out to the open ocean. Next stop, Antarctica. And if you're lucky, you might just get accompanied out to sea by a pod of dolphins. These are common dolphins, distinguished by that hourglass shape that runs the length of their body. They'll travel the oceans in groups that can number in the thousands, feeding on sardines, pilchards, anchovies, and other small fish.
This is the Southern Ocean at its best. 5 minutes ago, it was sunny and calm. Now there's rain, wind, and big seas. And Tasman Island, where we were, is covered in cloud. There are so many seabirds out here. There's shy albatross flying everywhere. Shearwaters, there's sooty shearwaters, short-tailed shearwaters, fluttering shearwaters. There are little storm petrels. Now, whilst the birds go to land to breed, they spend the main part of their life at sea.
Those albatross, though, they're just impressive. In the winter months, you'll get the royal albatross, with one of the biggest wingspans of any bird on Earth. But the main one here is the shy albatross.
They're so graceful, the way they just fly above the surface of that water.
They only breed on 3 islands, which are all around Tasmania. Numbers plummeted in the early 1900s due to demand from the feather trade. Although it's still under threat from longline fishing, shies can be seen scouring the seas right across the southern oceans. And today, numbers are on the rise. What a wonderful sight.
Now tonight, fingers crossed, I'm hoping for 2 things. To see female turtles laying their eggs and hatchlings popping out of their eggs. Wouldn't that be magic?
Where are we going to head?
I reckon we'll go up north
Yeah?
and have a bit of patrol.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get to work with some incredible animals, from tiny bats to giant pythons. But one species I never get tired of seeing in the wild are sea turtles. And not just seeing them in the wild, but specifically egg laying and hatching. Now, I've tried to see it a few times and missed. This was an opportunity that was too good to pass up.
It's a very good incubating beach. We get really good hatchling success. Yep. And most of the turtles come up into that first grassed area to lay their eggs.
Oh, do they? So they're not going up over the top?
No, loggerheads usually stay on this bottom, yeah.
It doesn't take long to find the first signs of what's going to happen when the sun goes down. When the females come up the beach, they stop here on the dunes where the vegetation starts. And this beach is perfect because it has a gradual slope. Now, natural disasters like cyclones can erode a beach and it can be too steep and the turtles can't lay. But this is perfect. And here is a turtle shell, some tangible evidence that there are hatchlings under the sand here, just waiting to emerge. But now it's a waiting game. The sun needs to drop, we sit tight, wait for a turtle to walk up on the beach, or little turtles to scurry down the beach. Either way, I'm excited.
Nesting turtles will come out anytime, sort of from dusk onwards. They like the darkness, it's safer for them. And hatchlings, it's the cooling down of the sand. So we've had a bit of rain today, so the sand should be getting quite cool, and that's when they wake up and trigger to emerge and scuttle down the beach.
How many turtles have laid here so far this season?
We've had around about 360 individual loggerheads. It's pretty good numbers for the season. And we've had a few just in the last week, which we call first-time nesters, so breeding for the first time ever in their life. So up on the beach, they've got no tags, no scars where they've lost a tag. So we know that they're here for the first time, which is lovely to see.
Luckily for me, once the sun disappears, any concerns I had about turtles not showing up have been put to bed.
Wow, you can see the line here. This is our track. Yeah, exciting. If you look at the flipper marks, you can see they're across like this from each other. So that's a loggerhead turtle. They come up the beach using their front flippers.
So you can identify the species by the tracks?
Yeah, yeah.
All we need to do now is follow those tracks and we find a turtle.
Hey, look at this. Look to the left. Look at that.
That's a loggerhead?
That is a loggerhead turtle.
It's exactly what we were after. First time I've ever seen it this close.
This is a loggerhead turtle, and it's pretty easy to see why they have that name. Their head is huge, and those flippers that are so designed for swimming turn into shovels.
Now, she digs about an arm length down, and it's about 2 handspans wide at the bottom, comes up to about 1 at the top.
We picture turtles being these slow, cruisy creatures, but you're talking 15 minutes to dig a hole, not 15 hours.
No, that's right.
It's a quick process. She's finished the hole, and then she rests her flipper up, and you can just sense that something's about to happen. 1 egg drops, 2 egg drops, 3, 4, 5. And soon enough, there's 20 to 30 eggs in the bottom of that chamber.
Yeah, so we'll see if she's got tags, then we'll know if she's been here before. Yeah, so she has got a tag. She's done a couple of breeding seasons.
Yep.
So yeah, it's great to see her back for another one.
Wonderful. Now we know who she is, it's time to have a look at the rest of the body.
What did we get? 99.8, I think. Yep. Yeah, it's average for our loggerhead girls. So you can see all this sand she's dug out, so she's going to fill in over her nest, so it's nice and safe.
She's laid her eggs, the job's done, and now she's making her way back to the ocean, and pretty quick too. Just up the beach, we come across another expectant mother who's already started the laying process. So this is turtle number 2.
Yeah.
And what's happening there?
So this is one of our visitor groups, come to view the turtle and learn about what turtles do.
Yep, ecotourism at its best.
Definitely, yeah.
And all the kids are our future ambassadors.
Yeah, yeah, they certainly take the messages home.
This is definitely one for the bucket list. So it's no wonder this awesome spectacle attracts people from around the world, night after night during the nesting season. Okay, we find another?
Yeah, let's go.
Look at that, that's turtle number 3 for us. And she's a bit lost, is she?
Yeah, she's heading a bit along the beach, but she should get her bearings and find her way up to the dunes.
And the groups have got more?
Yeah, we've got 3 more groups along the beach, and then I think we've got another 2 turtles. So yeah, we're getting close to 10 for the night.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. And I'm not tired of seeing the females laying, but where are the babies?
We need some hatchling action. Yeah, so we'll have to go for a patrol and see if we can find some babies.
We're wasting time.
Yeah, let's go.
There's still a long night ahead, and I'm desperately hoping my timing is on the button to see the first stages of life for these extraordinary turtles.
All this rain, we've got a bit of a hard surface, so we'll just loosen it up a bit.
I'm on Monripo Beach in Bundaberg, witnessing the next generation of the endangered loggerhead turtles emerge from their eggs beneath the sand.
We should see the sand start to bubble soon. Little heads appear.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Wow.
Holy moly. These little fellas' mother laid her eggs here 60 days ago, right where she would have hatched decades back.
Truly one of the most amazing sights on Earth.
There was 1 head, 2 head. Now there's 20. They've just exploded. And every one of them is heading right for the ocean. Here's one right at my knee. There must be 50 or 60 in there now. And as they hatch and crawl down the beach, they're put into here where they're safe. They don't get squashed. And then all at once, they'll be lifted and they'll take off. I can hardly keep up with them. Tonight, watching those females lay their eggs and the hatchlings pop their little heads up, it's a full cycle. And it's truly amazing. I do some special things in my job, but tonight, being here, just about tops it.
Rightio, we ready? Here we go.
Here they come. A whole lot are just about to hit me. What a sight.
Next
How they
one's right.
tickle.
They do tickle.
They're everywhere. There's so many of them, and they want out. They want in the ocean. They're almost at the water.
Just about there. Here
Look
we
at
go. Coming.
Wow, that was brilliant. Hey?
These tiny babies face one of nature's toughest battles for survival.
Less than 1 in 1,000 of these little hatchlings will make it to be an adult. They're off.
Hopefully some of the females in this clutch make it to maturity and then return to Monripo, maybe in 20 or 30 years, just like their mother did, to lay their own eggs and start the cycle all over again.
I have never quite seen anything like that. I think it needs to be said, 50% of the world's loggerhead population breeds here, and that's because of the work you guys are doing. I mean, you've been here 20 years, so you're a big part of that, and good on you.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
No matter how old you are, rock pools can be a bit of fun. Whether you're looking for starfish that turn their bellies inside out, octopus, snails or shells, it's a great way to get outdoors and explore.
Now, rock pooling is easy. All you need is a reasonably sheltered, rocky seashore, a good pair of sturdy shoes, a good smear of sun cream, and if you're out for more than a few minutes, you'll need a hat too. Today I'm somewhere special. This is Tasmania and I'm at the tessellated pavement. This place is famous around the world. Basically, the cracks were formed when rocks fractured by the movement of the earth split even more over time as salt crystallised between the cracks and began disintegrating them from within. That didn't happen overnight. It took millions of years of that tide coming in and out, replenishing the salt. And it's that tide coming in, and more importantly, going out, that offers the opportunity to investigate another world.
This rock is alive. There are critters all over it. Now, the most common one are these sightons. Now, sightons are a prehistoric mollusk. Look like a trilobite. They've got 8 parts to the shell, and they stick onto the rocks. They feed on the little microorganisms. But one clever thing they do, and it's like the slaters or some bugs that you might find in your backyard, they can curl up in a ball, just like this, and that hard shell protects them. Now, the best thing on this rock are the giant elephant snails. There's one stuck to the top, there's another in the water here. And they're not like any snail you'd be used to seeing. That's their shell, and it's only just on top. The rest of the snail looks like a slug, and they're slimy. They get their name because of that nose, looks like a trunk. And they too just feed on all the organisms around the edge of these rocks.
It's really important you consult a tide table before you set off. You don't want to be caught out either way. Tides can turn quick and in no time can be in and around you, so be careful. Sea anemones are found the world over and come in all shapes and sizes. Some nearly 2 metres in diameter.
They have their little tentacle-like arms just waving out there in the water. And when an unsuspecting bit of food comes past, they might be sticky or they might sting them. Either way, they then close and envelop themselves and digest whatever it is that they've caught. These are called cushion starfish. They come in all sorts of colours and sizes. And starfish are pretty amazing. If they lose an arm for a particular reason, they can simply grow it back. But the way they eat is what I like the most. They actually turn their stomachs inside out and they regurgitate the digestive juices onto a rock and they eat the algae and microorganisms. There you go, you can see that one's eating. All of that food there is what it's picked up off the rock and now it's starting to digest it. They actually stick to the rocks with all these little arms. They're all folding in now. Now the important thing with any sea creatures that you find is to put them exactly where you found them. These little environments, even in a short distance here, are really different. I'm going to pop them right back in their little spot. Number one, there you go, it was stuck to my hand.
I'm rock pooling on the southeast coast of Tasmania. Wherever the tide is out, there's always a whole other world to explore. And this place is bursting with life.
All of these shells here are mussels, and the beds just cover the rock, and they're secured to the rock. They're fastened tight. But at the moment, with the tide out, they're closed. When the water comes in and covers these rocks, they open up and they begin to filter the water. And in doing so and passing that water through, they extract the nutrients, and that's how they feed. There are two tiny little orange starfish just here, and when I pick them up, they might not look that impressive, but they are. They're endemic to this area. That means they're found nowhere else on Earth, just southeastern Tasmania in these tidal margins, and they're called live-bearing starfish. There you go, there's two. Now, I told you they were small. They've actually got 5 little arms, but they're almost the shape of a pentagon. And they get their name because their babies actually develop under the skin in little sacs. And when they're ready to hatch or be born, they break through the surface of the skin. They live right up high here in the tidal margin. And they do that because they're so small. They're a cannibal starfish out further. And if they live there, they'd get eaten.
The thing you don't need when out rock pooling is a net. They can hurt the ecosystem, so it's best that you just use your hands. You'll be pretty safe with most sea creatures in rock pools, but if you're not sure, just leave it alone. They say time waits for no man. Well, I reckon that applies to the tide as well. Now I've got a few minutes left to seek out something special. I know they're here. That's the other thing about rock pooling. All it takes is a little bit of patience. Something will always turn up.
There's one critter I really wanted to see here today, and it's taken me a fair while to find one. But he's under this rock. Look at that. These sidons are everywhere, just prehistoric, and they look it. But the one I was looking for is just here. And I bet you can hardly see him because he is perfectly camouflaged. Oh, there's two. Another little one. It's called a decorator crab. And it gets the name because it decorates itself to camouflage from predators. Now that weedy-looking rock is in fact a crab. And if I turn him over, you can see his nippers just on the inside there. Let's see if he'll walk. There he goes. You won't find camouflage much better than that in the animal world. And there's another little one here, a tiny one. Not camouflaged quite as good, but still looks exactly like a rock. And when they get big enough, they'll head out to sea, but for now, this is their nursery and this is where they're safe. Now, no trip to a rock pool would be complete without a crab. And what a special crab that is. I'm going to put him right back where I found him. I've just found a ginormous starfish. I'm not exactly sure what species it is, but my guess would be that it's carnivorous. And on the menu are other starfish. It's moving around this pool, hunting. And it is massive. Look at that.
And they're pretty incredible. If they lose an arm in a battle, they just grow it back. And inside here, that's where it digests its food. So what it would do is actually get over the top of another starfish. It turns its stomach inside out, and that would actually cover and envelop the other starfish, and then its digestive juices start to break it down. What a beast. 7 arms. And when it moves in the water, these little tentacle-like things stick out and you can see it feeling its way. I think when it finds another starfish, that's what it's going to do, is put that arm over, slowly move over the top and engulf it. I'm going to put him back there. It's spiky and slimy and sort of feels like it's going to hurt me. See you, mate.
I reckon I could go on for hours looking for seaside wildlife along these shores. But it's time to make a move before that tide comes in and catches me.